Letter 605 by Charles Lamb. Summer 1834. Emmer Lamb's comps, and shall be happy to look over the lines as soon as ever Mr. Russell shall send them. He is at Mr. Walden's church, not Bury St. Edmund. Line 10. Ween and whist and what and eke are antiquated frippery, and unmodernize a poem rather than give it an antique air, as some strong old words may do. I guess, I know, I knew are quite as significant. Y.e. barbarous Scotticism, when I is much better and chimes to cavalry, a sprinkling of disused words where all the style else is after the approved recent fashion teases and puzzles. Anon the storm begins to slake, the sullen clouds to melt away, the moon becalmed in a blue lake looks down with melancholy ray. The moon becalmed in a blue lake would be more apt to look up. I see my error, the sky is the lake, and beg you to laugh at it. What is a maiden's e'en, south of the Tweed? You may as well call her prettily turned ears her lugs. On the maiden's lugs they fall, verse 79. A coy young miss will never do, for though you are presumed to be a modern, writing only of days of old, yet you should not write a word purely unintelligible to your heroine. Some understanding should be kept up between you. Miss is a nickname not 2 centuries old, came in at about the Restoration. The King's Misses is the oldest use of it I can remember. It is Mistress Anne Page, not Miss Page. Modern names and usages should be kept out of sight in an old subject. W. Scott was sadly faulty in this respect. Tear of sympathy, pity's sacred due. Sympathy is a young lady's word, rife in modern novels, and is almost always wrongly applied. To sympathize is to feel with, not simply for another. I write verses and sympathize with you. You have the toothache, I have not. I feel for you, I cannot sympathize. What is sheen? Has it more significance than bright? Richmond in its old name was Sheen. Would you call an omnibus to take you to Sheen? How the all's right man would stare. The violet nestled in the shade, which fills with perfume all the glade, yet bashful as a timid maid, thinks to elude the searching eye of every stranger passing by, might well compare with Emily. A strangely involved simile. The maiden is likened sick to a violet which has been just before likened to a maid, yet it reads prettily, and I would not have it altered. E'en come again, in line 407 you speak it out, I, bravely like an Englishman. Sorceresses do not entice by wrinkles, but being essentially aged, appear in assumed beauty. This communication and that which follows, with trifling omissions, were sent to notes and queries by the late Mr. J. Fuller Russell, FSA, with this explanation. I was reciting at Enfield in the Cambridge Long Vacation, 1834, and perhaps to the neglect of more improving pursuits, composed a metrical novel, named Emily de Wilton, in 3 parts. When the first of them was completed, I ventured to introduce myself to Charles Lamb, who was living at Edmonton at the time, and telling him what I had done, and that I had scarcely heart to proceed until I had obtained the opinion of a competent judge respecting my verses. I asked him to while away an idle hour in their perusal, adding, I fear you will think me very rude and very intrusive, but I am one of the most nervous souls in Christendom. Moved, possibly, by this diffident, not to say unusual confession, Elias speedily gave his consent. The poem was never printed. Lamb's pains in this matter serve to show how kindly disposed he was in these later years to all young men, and how exact a sense of words he had. In the British Museum is preserved a sheet of similar comments made by Lamb upon a manuscript of P.G. Patmore's, from which I have quoted a few passages above. In Charles Lamb and the Lloyds will also be found a number of interesting criticisms on a translation of Homer.